professional wrestling royalties here in Nottingham. He is the excellence of execution, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Ladies and gentlemen, Bret the Hitman Hart!
Anyway, I'm really glad to be here. I know there's Hallowed Halls here, very famous soccer. Let's get on with the night and have a great night. Look forward to meeting everybody and making everybody happy with pictures and autographs are pretty easy for me, so.
Wow. 2-5, full gas going down. 125 on bid now. 150 will get moving, ladies and gents, selling once. John Calzaghe selling twice. Olive fair one. Sold table number 4. Winning ticket number, ladies and gents. Please grab here somewhere. I'm glad the table winning because I know. Here's our best mate on his keeper.
Professional wrestling royalties here in Nottingham. He is the excellence of execution, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Ladies and gentlemen, Bret the Hitman Hart! First of all, Bret, welcome to Nottingham. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. Really good. I want everyone to know that I've got a clean bill of health and I've had more problems with my wrist surgery than anything else, so everything is good. Oh, somebody's calling me. It might be Vince McMahon. It's not.
Speaking of Vince McMahon, Bret, and we've been talking about WrestleMania appearances across the whole tour. I want to talk about WrestleMania 26 today and the comeback that we never thought we'd see. How did that come about?
That's when I fought Vince at Phoenix, and I can't remember the numbers of that one. It's like I kind of lost track after 13. It came about from good things. I was pretty angry about everything that happened. I think anyone that knows my story knows that I was pretty angry for a long time. But I spent 7 years writing a book that I took tedious time with every day to write, and I worked really hard on that book. And it's totally accurate, everything in that book is. And it captures all my sentiment and how I felt about working there and how I felt about the wrestling industry. And I just thought that after the book was done, I kind of got to say everything I wanted to say in my book. That I remember kind of feeling like I sound like I'm so bitter at the end of it. Like I sound like an angry man that, still wakes up tossed and turning and wanting to kill Vince McMahon. Which sometimes I still did. It took me a while to get past that phase. But anyway, I just realized that, when I went through my stroke in 2002, I just realized that you can't carry around a lot of bad feelings and anger. And, they said my stroke was probably related to some kind of stress, and I was pretty stressed out at the time. And I think it was totally related to the kick in the head I got from Bill Goldberg. But anyway, I realized that carrying around a lot of anger you know, and then the way it kind of sounded in my book, it sounded like I was very unforgiving and not very open to, you know, trying to make amends at all. And I wasn't really, you know, it didn't just happen overnight. A lot of people might think, oh, they always probably worked it out that way. We're gonna come back. I'll come back in 2026 or whatever. Come back and do it again, or you know. But anyway, I think I started to think that I sounded too angry in my book, and then I think it kind of started through Natalia and Tyson Kidd talking to Shawn Michaels, and it's my understanding that Shawn said that he wished I'd just get on an airplane and fly down and kill him and get it over with, kind of thing. And that he felt really bad about what happened, and he was helping, I think, Natalia and TJ at the time, and I expressed to them, I said, you just give Shawn my number and tell him to call me. You know, if he calls me, we can just talk about it on the phone. And I can remember saying, like, if he does call me, you know, like, the reality of it is pretty simple, is that Shawn and I were actually really good friends once upon a time. You know, Shawn was like maybe one of my biggest supporters in the dressing room, and it was somebody that was a big fan of mine, in and out of the ring, and been in my house with my family. And you know, I kind of remember, I said, before all the bullshit happened, we were actually really good friends, and maybe there's a way to still. So I told Tyson and Natty, I said, just tell him to call me. And he never did call me, which, you know, I actually made the offer, and they passed it on, and he never did call me. And when I saw him, I asked him, why didn't you call me? He goes, I was too scared. But anyway, that was the start of it. That I opened the door, tried to open the door with Shawn a little bit, but that didn't happen. And then I had my knee replaced, you know, amongst many of my numerous surgeries. I had my right knee replaced, and I owned a house in Hawaii, and I remember hearing the phone ring and actually running up the steps in my house. And I remember going, I couldn't believe it, that I actually ran up really fast to get the phone. And I thought, you know, and then I saw Vince McMahon wrestle Donald Trump on one of the other wrestlers before that. Who would figure this guy running for president? I thought, shit, if he can wrestle Donald Trump and call himself a wrestler, I mean, I could come back and do something with Vince McMahon. I could do a hell of a lot more than Donald Trump can. And so that's kind of where the germ came from, like the idea of so I called up WWE and said, look guys, I'd like to talk to them about doing a storyline and blah, blah, blah. And I talked about it, set it all up. And they said, we'll give you a call back. And so I never heard from them for about 4 months, 5 months. So I just blew it off, like, okay, well, I try, you know, made this stupid offer to do something with them. And then right out of nowhere, they called me on, you know, it was in the summertime, and asked me to come meet them and make the arrangements to see if I was going to do it. And we didn't really work anything out till that day. And I will say that when I did fly to Ohio or whatever it was for Monday Night Raw, that when I did that in-ring promo with Shawn, you know, it was totally unrehearsed. I met him in the back at the catering, and I remember he came up and shook hands, and we had a kind of a quick word with each other. And I remember I cut him off. I said, you know what? Let's just do this in the ring. Let's do it live, do it for real in front of everybody. I don't have to do it here in the dressing room for the catering staff. And that was how we did it. So I mean, it was very real. One of the real moments of my career, anyway, was Shawn in the ring that day.
Did you find it a cathartic experience? And looking back in it now, are you glad that's how it went down, or would you have changed anything of that process?
No, you know, actually, I thought I would strangle Shawn Michaels within a month of that day. I actually feared. I said, you know, he's just gonna be the old Shawn, and I'm gonna find him really annoying, and I'll be really regret that I ever made the effort to try to become friends with the guy again. But you know, I was wrong. Shawn turned out to be, very appreciative of the opportunity to kind of bury the hatchet. I think, for me, I think Sean had a ton of guilt, felt really lousy felt worthless for years, and knew that, everybody knew what really happened and what went down and what a chicken shit he looked like.